All right, we are live tonight. Look at this. We've got episode number 2 of RAGIN with Heather Ellen, December Lace, Trish Bengtson, and we've got a special guest here tonight, Pops. Pops, I'm going to put your card up here. You've got CromCon happening right now, but before we talk about that, let me just put in our little intro. RAGIN. All right, here we go.
I love that. That's awesome.
First time I've seen it. That's
I love it.
It's still a work in progress. Of course, I am the Asian, and she's the Cajun. And if you've tuned in before, if you've tuned in before, then you have seen our R.E.E.P.er challenge where we almost died. And that was to kind of launch the program. But tonight, we want to talk about marketing. We want to talk about the creative process, and we're just going to kind of hang out for about an hour, really, because we're going to keep it short tonight. Normally, this might go to 90 minutes. We'll see how Nita feels, because she is drinking Red Bull like Crown Apple. Not Red Bull. She's drinking NyQuil like it's Crown Apple tonight.
And Red Bull. And Red Bull.
Oh gosh. Oh, my stomach hurts. I'm telling you, you're killing my liver just watching you.
I don't understand where the Red Bull comes in it.
She should have a Red Bull sponsor as much as she drinks.
They ought to hit me up.
I'm just thinking, if you don't feel good, shouldn't you be trying to not stay awake? Maybe rest.
The show must go on, and I have some promotions to do tonight. So
that's why we love her, because she ain't gonna stop.
Yeah.
If you saw the R.E.E.P.er challenge, y'all know. The girl over there ain't gonna stop.
She's not gonna stop. And that's why I drank the chocolate milk first. I was like, nope. I'm not gonna eat the whole bag, because I knew I was gonna lose anyway. At that point, I was like, save yourself.
No,
battle another day.
The best was the ice cream at the end. And that smeared all over the face.
I don't know how you ladies do that. There's no way.
It's sheer stupidity. Really, sheer stupidity.
See, Heather, I want to join them on their next one, because they're doing the every flavor bean from Harry Potter. I want to play with that.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
Yeah, we're
going
supposed
to do that today.
There's some nasty ones in there. I'm just telling you.
I know, we're gonna do that. Yeah. Well, that, and kind of going with kind of like that marketing hook. And I think all of us know it. And Trish, you are a consumer, but you're also a content creator as well. You haven't really published much out there. You're kind of dipping your toe into the waters.
Yeah. It is a little dip. It is like I put the top of my toe out there. So.
Yeah, but so when it comes to things like a show like RAGIN, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? When Nita and I were talking about it, we were like, well, we like product reviews. We like advocating for creators, and it doesn't necessarily have to stay with comic books. We love independent creators, period. So, and of course the circles that we're running around in, it's going to be a lot of comic book creators. But it was one of those things. It's like mail call. For whatever reason, people love when people reveal the packages online and share what it is that they got in the mail. So it's like, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we have these interviews and things and have a voice and start something that isn't tethered to other things, because I don't know about you guys, Pops. I know with CromCon, you've been hustling and getting your name out, so that and kind of migrated from other channels to where you are now, where you're kind of hosting it yourself. You're part of a network now. With that, the whole networking thing is so important, and I do want to talk about that tonight. But Pops, let's get you up. Let's get your card back up here. Talk a little bit about CromCon. It is starting tomorrow.
CromCon originated out of the bowels of COVID.
Is that a good thing?
That's the only way I can say it. It's like, back I remember it was April last year, or what, March or April, when ECCC went down, and I was talking to Brian, Mr. Polito, to everybody else. We talked a lot back then, and we still do a little bit. And I was like, hey man, what are you gonna do? And he's like, well, I'm just gonna have them send all my stuff back to Phoenix, back to Arizona. I'm just gonna do a con next weekend. I'll just sell it all online. I was like, that's a great idea, but I know all these creators in my group that don't have that kind of resource. What can I do? What can I do to help them? I got this little group, 400 or 500 people at the time, and we weren't nobody. We didn't know what we were doing. Come on. I keep this to remind myself we didn't know what we were doing. This is the guest list for CromCon #1. It's been here for 11 months, sitting on my desk. Okay, and you can see the final guest was Mr. Polito. Okay.
That is the paper plate that will live forever on your desk.
Dude,
huh?
I would keep it forever. Yeah, because it was like, it's where it all came from. We just had a group of a bunch of just cool creatives and cool, good fans, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna try to help everybody out. It has grown and grown and grown, and we've partnered up with other platforms and done other things, and just always trying to network. The whole purpose of the madness is networking and promotion. There's a lot of groups out there that will not let you promote your project. That ain't us. We encourage you to promote your project, because right now you don't have 500 people walking by your table every weekend. You don't have a table,
Exactly.
So, I mean, for me, it was a passionate thing. I was passionate about it. I wanted to make sure that, people saw what we were doing, and I got really frustrated. I wasn't getting the pull that I wanted. It was like I couldn't get a press release. I couldn't get anything in the beginning, and I had some big name people. I had Keith Williams. I had Jack Purcell. I had Brian Polito. I couldn't get a press release out of nobody. I couldn't get any recognition. And Brian told me, he's like, don't worry about it, man. Just don't worry about it. Eventually they're going to come to you, And it's like, now I get press releases. Now I got people talking about what we're doing, and it gets spread out there and retweeted and shared. And we hooked up with NSC Live TV, and we're in their network now, but their network is a very loose network, which allows you to be who you are when you're part of their network, which makes it really great. I mean, everybody knows your personality is what's going to sell your product, your brand, and yeah, there's going to be people that like you and people that don't like you. Just like every project out there, there's going to be people that like it and people that don't like it. There's going to be people like Trish buy it whether they like it or not. I mean,
Well, and I want to go down to Trish too, because as a consumer, I'm going to assume that you went to the cons, that you went to these events and things like that. That's how you found your books. That's how you connected with the creators and stuff. When the great pause happened and things were shutting down, how did you pivot as a consumer to find the books that you've been supporting?
Actually, it was a rabbit hole effect. I saw that Zindascope started with online stuff, and then I followed Ni to like the Artist Alley on Facebook, and then I found Tom, and I just kept going down the rabbit hole. And I mean, and that's how I found you guys. And I mean, honestly, for us, Michael being disabled, this is so much more easier for me than pushing him through a crowded area where, we're stuck somewhere for 20 minutes. And it's like, can I have 5 minutes of your attention from some of the creators? And there's just so many people that they don't have individual times. Now, if I'm like, Tom, I got a question about a comic book, from Big Dog Inc., I get that personal response. Meredith, I have a question for you about, what's going on with your Kickstarter and your book. I can just write you guys, and I get that individual attention, which means so much more to me than standing there 20 minutes trying to just get one peek at you guys. Now, instead of just being fans, you guys have become our friends, our family. And you know, it's in a way, I mean, I'm probably going to get shoot for this, but I say this all the time. I am grateful for COVID in the sense that it has brought our community together. I mean, I am really sorry for all the people that have lost somebody or all the troubles of losing jobs. But for me and Mike, in our situation, this has brought Mike's closed world. It made it so much better.
Yeah. And for me, it's like it changed my whole life direction. I went from, you know, grandpa daycare to having a outside purpose in life, you know. And wow, after the first one, the first few were like 3 days. Heather knows. We did it for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all day. And after the first one, it was like I was on such a high from having got to spend a half hour talking to all these people, just like what Trish is talking about. You go to the con, you pay your money, you get 2 minutes with that guy while he signs your book, and then you got to get out the way for the next person.
Yep.
You know, I got to spend that whole first weekend talking to all these people for a half hour or longer each. Yeah. And I was on such a high on Monday. You know, it was like I think I did my first Monday stream that weekend too, just because it was like I was still on the high. I wanted to thank everybody that showed up, that came, you know, that watched, that bought something, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, it took me a few days to come down from that. And I knew I was going to keep doing it at that point.
Yeah. And I want to bring this down to Heather too, because Comics and More New Jersey, business, marketing, that's what you do. You're in the comic book world. How have you been able to kind of pivot through the year?
Well, I'm a newbie. So I pretty much, we just started in January of 2019. So I'm really a newbie. I'm a newbie to comics. And COVID hit not long after the social media went up. So a couple changes that I made. I'm now the only owner, and did more helping the indies. It was kind of like, well, there's a lot of problems with, like Pop said, the groups. There's so much politics. There's so much, you know, who gets along with who, where you could share stuff. And I come from a small publishing. I had a family-owned online publication, business to business. So I took my knowledge there and ran with it. And I did what I could to help. I do social media for a couple of people. I have the group Comics and More Chaos, now part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. So I have a show every Sunday. What was that?
I said more friends of ours, yes.
Yep.
Ryan K. Morris and the Rising Tide.
So I'm part of their publication, their broadcast network. And pretty much I started to have to go live so people could meet who I was. I was always behind the scenes before, and I'm terrified of the camera. But the one thing that I found I was fairly good at is I can talk to people, and I'm good at trying to help share their information. Because I'm a newbie, I don't have the history with a lot of people, but I'm good at business and I'm good at marketing and I'm really good at networking. So I try to use that to help.
I can say that Heather was one of the first people to help me with other platforms, trying to get seen on other platforms and how to approach other platforms. And then when I was trying to build my YouTube channel, she gave me some advice about keeping one of my shows specifically on YouTube so that people have to go there to see that show and do the rest of them can be all over the place, but keep at least one of them there so there's specific content that people go there to see. So, Heather's been a big part of CromCon from way back. She made our first swag. Our first comic-related madness swag came out of Heather's.
I did. Yes. I make handmade, damaged. I make keychains and dog tags and pins and necklaces from damaged comics and magazines. But I also can take logos and personal pictures or something that an artist can send in and do it for them for wholesale.
Nice. Well, speaking to what you were saying, Heather, is that even Nita was
cool.
not on camera, you know.
Oh.
And our story, how we got this far as quickly as we did, as far as launching a show, doing a vlog and stuff like that, sitting together and challenging each other and stepping up, leveling up and stuff. It was really super quick. We don't know how that quite happened, but it was like, hey, where have you been all my life? One of those things. And but we were talking about that this morning, how you got on camera, Anita, where it went from like 30 seconds of like, hey, I'm here. Okay, I did my vlog. I'm out of here.
Right.
To like 4 minutes, right?
Right. And then all of a sudden it made that jump from like 5 minutes to 45. And it was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, what happened before you know?
Mhm.
But Heather to me is awesome, because had Heather not told me she was newer to the scene, I would have had no idea, because she gets on there, like you share something to her Comics and More page and she's putting it out there in other places too. And it's just like, it is fantastic the way you guys move stuff. I mean, Pops has the madness and that's great too. Don't get me wrong. But the fact that she's so new blew my mind.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I was just like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I'm a full-blown newbie. I have the background in business, small business, social media, and I've always loved art. My parents took me to museums since I was a baby, and my dad painted and was a photographer on the side. So I have that history and the appreciation of pretty much any type of art, whether it's writing, drawings, paint, music, dance. I love it all. Even fashion, and that's where I came from. So I have 3 YouTube channels, and Comics and More is the second to newest, and then my new one, Twisted Angel, and they're all growing very well. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm happy to help anyone that I can. I try to share and cross promote using my YouTube channels where it's appropriate, and I have a good network of social media people that I could say, hey, there's this thing going on and this fits your group. Can you share it out there? And I contact a lot of people and see what I can do to help.
Now, let me talk about that a little bit, or I want to go around the room. When it comes to asking permission to post, you know, a lot of times people go in there and it's just like they kind of shit and leave, you know, kind of like my asshole cat used to do. And it's like they don't even take the time to get to know the group and stuff. And so that grinds my gears. I don't like when people do that. How do you approach that? And what is okay on your channels?
For Comics and More Chaos?
For anything.
For Comics and More Chaos, it is a group with very few rules. I have an announcement section set up for people to post their current Kickstarters and up to 2 months out, different threads. So when someone can go to a thread, everything will be pinned in the announcement section. And I tell people, share your stuff. That's what it's for. No nudity, no politics, no drama, no religion. Anything else, if it's a Kickstarter, a sale, a video, an interview, your pickup, your current LCS, you know, going to the comic store, any of that, share it out, bring it in there and promote it. And as long as it doesn't cause problems, I'm good with it. I had one person come in as a scam and asked a couple questions, and he threatened legal because I asked him questions. And he probably was the only person I've ever actually booted and blocked from the group. Oh yeah, it was fun. But I mean, it's pretty much basic things. Is this guy, it was too good of to be true. And when I said, where's your references? And he flipped out at me and he's like, I'm the reference. I said, no, that's not how it works in business. I need a reference. I need somebody that's worked with you, since you're trying to push this in a group that I have people that I care about. And yeah, I booted him and blocked him from the group. And then he messaged me and got all nasty. And I was like, dude, I'm not the right person to mess with. When it comes to the Chaos group, I want people to promote. If you have cosplay, if you went to a con, share your pictures. If you have a table set up somewhere, share your pictures. If you're dressing up in cosplay, have a Kickstarter, Indiegogo. As long as it's along this creative world, share it in there. I push that. But in other groups, I ask, can I do this? Because I want to make sure that not every group is like that. I have other groups that are not. So I ask permission. I hit up the admin, say, hey, is this okay to share in here? And some admin will go, this isn't, this isn't. And I have to keep track of where I can share who and what. But you build that relationship with the other groups and you say, hey, just so you know, I have a thread in my group for other groups that are for comics or other groups that may be of interest. My group specifically is for networking and cross promotion. That's how it's built. Yes, I have an online store. It doesn't matter. There's enough to buy and sell everywhere. Bring your stuff in there. I have a thread for brick and mortar stores. I have a thread for social media, YouTube. So you can go and start looking for things that you might not have seen, you might have missed, and promote yourself.
For Trish, for you, how is it that because I know when you purchase something, when you back something, you're sharing it out all the time. You and Mike, you're dropping our links in for Kickstarters and things like that. How, if people wanted to get on your radar, how would they get in touch with you? Is it just a matter of just, hey, Trish, whoop, you're on mute.
Muted.
There she is. Oh, no, you did it again.
Still muted.
No, for me, it's just Facebook. But honestly, I respect enough people that when I buy their stuff and other creators, like, I'm like, you guys know I talk on shows, and is it okay if I show your stuff or if it's in my background or whatever like that? And they're like, oh yeah, you can definitely talk about us. You know what I mean? Like Wendy's in the chat right now, and I just showed her fairies, that she's promoting, and I know she's cool with it. And I have a piece of David Sumney from Cannibal Campers behind me, and and I know they're okay with that. So, but if you want to find us, it's just Facebook or like Pops. I hate watching Pops. I love Pops. Hate watching him because every time he's like, look, Trish, the shiny new pretty toy. And I'm like, gotta have it.
And we welcome to the room December Lace. Hey.
Hello. Apologies, everybody.
I
I am so sorry about that, Meredith. I apologize. I'm not this bad usually. 15 minutes is socially acceptable, but I am so sorry about that.
We're fine. We were talking about basically we haven't gotten to the creation part, the content creation, but more like marketing and things. Now you kind of got on our radar because the cosplaying, and then kind of deep diving into what you do as a professional wrestler, and I'm like, damn, this girl, I wanna get to know more about her and kind of hang out and see, because it's just a world that's fascinating to me as an observer. But go ahead and introduce yourself so that everybody knows who you are, and welcome to RAGIN.
Well, I mean, I think that you did a really good job there. I don't think that I need to there. Like, you did awesome enough. I can't really top that. Well, like you said, I was a professional wrestler for 8.5 years on the independent level. That's it. I went to wrestling school where a lot of people do that before they go to like TV and all that. I have been on TV, so like this is where people would train or study before they would make it to like WWE or like TNA or AEW. They didn't have AEW back when I was active. My active years were 2006 to 2014. I was going to get back in the ring a couple of years ago, but I think it was a couple of days before the show was supposed to happen, they canceled it, and it kind of reminded me of why I walked away in the first place, because there was like a lot of backstage drama, and I was like, I'm just kind of sick of that. So that's a big reason of why I walked. So it wasn't like an injury or anything like that. I had fun. I got out. So I just stopped when it stopped being fun, but it was the best thing that I ever did. I love doing it. I had a ton of fun. I learned a lot about business and marketing while I was there. And that's kind of what led me here, is because if you don't do it for yourself, no one is going to do it for you. I had to market myself in order to get jobs, essentially, because I could wrestle at my home fed, but that's the only place that I was guaranteed work. And even then, I wasn't really guaranteed any work there because I was the only girl for a while. For years, being the only woman that was there, they didn't do mixed tag teams, so I didn't wrestle any men. I did in practice all the time. That's the only way that I could learn. But in a show form, they wouldn't have me wrestle any of the guys. Whether they didn't want to present that to the general audience, I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't their show type.
But they'll still do it now. Have you noticed those Sasha's up there fighting some dude in the ring on Monday?
Well, yeah, they do that now. Like now, that's a standard thing. But when I was active, that was not like a regular practice. And I think it became that way because a lot of like my female colleagues, like they had to, otherwise they wouldn't get to work. But where I was at, that wasn't a practice at the time. So for me, I had to work to get other women in the company in order so I could get to wrestle that night. So I figured that if I was doing that anyway, like in my company, I would try to get work for myself out in other companies too. And then I just kind of realized like I can keep doing this like every day, like, hi, I'm December and this is what I do. And then I just had fun playing the image up, and then it just kind of took a life of its own, and everybody else had fun playing with the character and inciting my tantrums online, and I just played into it too, because the other days that I'm not wrestling or not interacting with the crowd, they liked interacting online, so I wasn't going to deny them that. I thought that would be fun. Like if I was a kid, how cool would it be if I got to interact with my favorite wrestler like online? Like I didn't have online when I was growing up, not in this capacity anyway. It was like AOL modem startup when I was wrestling. So that's
you don't want to know what it was when I started with community.
But
yeah, it was, but you know what, so that was something that we kind of touched on earlier, was just how we were able to pivot. Like where we are right now isn't where we were even a year ago, even before the great pause and stuff. So going from the like a crowd situation, you know, I mean, there's a certain amount of separation even when you're in a crowd. I know that from performing myself. But when you're in front of the camera and you're kind of by yourself and you're looking at that blue or red light there, and now you're engaging with an audience, how was that as a transition for you? Because I don't think none of us here really came out of the gate going, I'm in broadcasting. You know, we're doing it. You know, and maybe we didn't have the training, the professional training to do that, but we're making our way and trying to build that branding for ourselves. What was that for you, going from like, hey, you know, I'm in the crowd, I'm schmoozing people, but you still have kind of like the separation. The internet brings you into our living rooms. You know, there is that more personal feel to it. And I want to go around the room and ask you guys how it is that you deal with. Does it feel like it happened naturally? Was it very uncomfortable for you? Are you still battling with, you know, like, oh, why am I doing this?
Who do
Go
you
ahead,
want?
December. You had the mic last, so let's
okay.
start with you.
I'll start then. There's always the camera in front of me, so it was a very natural transition. I mean, the camera is on me 24/7, so I'm just used to it, darling.
Okay.
Love it.
Heather, how about you?
I'm terrified of the camera, but I do this better than I can get up in front of actual people. I can't get on a stage. I will stutter, turn bright red, and probably feel like I'm going to throw up if I don't throw up on the crowd. My first time I went live, I spent the first 10 minutes going, I am terrified of the camera, so I really apologize. And that was pretty much, and I think I was only live for 10 minutes.
Oh.
So I've gotten more comfortable because I see friendly faces in the audience, and I think that helps. people that I've gotten to know better. And when they come and say hi, it's like, okay, I can breathe. It's the same way I was at a trade show, though. I'd walk into a trade show and I go to my friendly person and I go get my hug, and then I could deal with the 3 ballrooms of people. Before that, I couldn't. It just was too much. Too many people.
Yeah. Trish.
Oh, for me, it just depends on the room. Like this room, even though I know there's probably like 50 people watching us, I don't care. I'm in this room with the 6 of you. So that doesn't affect me at all. It's who I'm in the room with. So like if there's somebody that is not like in the flow, then I get nervous and I get like, okay, what am I doing wrong? So this is not an engaging conversation. It just really depends on the room that you're in, because it just feels like, oh, we're just friends hanging out. And that's the way I look at all podcasts that I'm on or any show I'm on. It's just, I want to hang out with my friends.
Pops?
Well, for me, that's real easy. Back in the late 90s, I was the sidekick on Z-Rock for one of the best production managers / DJs Arizona radio ever had, Rob Flanick, rest in peace. And I already had this, I can do this in front of, I don't care how many people are listening or watching or whatever. I'm a toothless old man. I don't care. It's about the product. It's not about it's not the messenger. I come out here, I talk about what you guys all do. I talk to you guys about what you guys all do. Okay. I was a front man on a rock band when I was in my teens, early 20s. I just, karaoke king. I got no fear. I'll do this, and some people like me and some people won't.
Yeah. Nita, how about you?
Well, no, I'm still not comfortable with the camera. And now that Meredith pointed out I'm in people's living rooms, it all of a sudden made it more uncomfortable again. So thank you for that. Having social anxiety disorder with Asperger's and ADHD has not made this an easy transition for me. But I was getting used to it until you had to open your mouth. Go ahead. God, right now I'm like, don't.
It's like, I'm in your living room. That's not creepy at all.
Actually, you're in my bedroom.
There you go. If you want to think about how many in the audience are naked, maybe that'll help.
So many people are like that, honestly. And then so many people tell me about that.
Oh, no.
They've been doing that lately, actually.
Wow.
No, they really have. Like my inbox has been like within this last month. They kind of posted about it. Like I think that I hate doing this because I really like to try to be as open and cool about like having like people having access to like creators and all that is it's kind of a gift, I would think, like to reach out and to be able to talk to people that make your life like just awesome every day. Like I know that's, to me, that would be a gift, because like I would never be able to just tweet my favorite wrestler, my favorite artist ever, when I was growing up. And like people now, they just be respectful with the messages you send or the letters that you think are appropriate to send. Just kind of ask yourself, what am I really sending? Because I do get them. I have my nanny read them to me. And some of them you probably should have thought twice about it.
Yeah. Well, Nita recently went through something where, a guy, it was kind of like a sneak attack. It was like everything was cool. And then it started getting creepy. And then it started getting creepy fast. Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but
I don't want to bring up names or anything.
Yeah,
the last time I did that, some members of the community decided to freaking come at me. But yeah, this guy approached me as a creator, and so naturally I was like, okay. And we had a couple of small interactions through Messenger or whatever. And like the night I was on was it the last Freaky Friday? Yeah, it was the last Freaky Friday. all of a sudden it escalated because I was on his show and we were talking about kinks and whatever. This dude just decided he could come at me however, and he did. And I mean, he was already getting a little obsessive in the inbox, but he was keeping it clean, and it just took a whole nother turn. It was insane. It was insane.
So
Yeah, they usually see what they can get away with for a little bit, and then they'll pull something like that, and then they'll go, "No, I was just kidding."
Yes,
I didn't give it time to.
You know what? We're not stupid, and this is not on us to like say that I feel uncomfortable. Like, you know what you did, and this is completely on you. We're not the crazy ones. Like, that's also when guys like are dating, and I hear this all the time, when guys are dating chicks and they treat them like a girlfriend, and then like they go, like the girls go nuts because the guy just drops them and just ghosts them. And then he's like, well, she's showing up at my work and she's doing this. It's like, what do you think you did to make that happen?
Yeah.
She's worried about you. Like that's also not her fault. So George Carlin said it best. He's like, the reason women are crazy is because men are stupid.
Yeah.
Pops,
George Carlin said it.
I'm going to take you a step further, and some guys are going to probably hate me for this one, but 90% of the men I know are savages. Can I tell you? You know, they are. I love them. They're good dudes, but they're savages. You know, I mean, they don't have a clue how to act sometimes. That's all. Well, that's all of us.
So that
there sometimes too. You know, I mean, most of the time we don't have a clue how to act. So
that's what I want to kind of go around next with is, so now that you are online, now that you are in front of the camera and you have been, you know, kind of making yourself accessible to people because we're pivoting. We have to pivot. You know, the world isn't quite as open as we'd like it to be. We're not at the Comic-Cons and things like that. We don't have that separation of being at an event and then just going home, you know, boom, there's your boundary and stuff. Now that we are essentially accessible 24/7 and we're trying to build a brand, how do you separate the brand from the personal life then? What is it that you guys do?
Well, that's the problem that I had from the beginning. Like I said, I think we were talking before we came live. It's like there's too many people out here watching me that have known me forever. I can't come out here and act like I'm somebody else or put up a facade. I have to be me. And that means some people ain't going to like me, you know. But I can't come out here and act like I'm somebody else, or I'm going to get called out by people who know me. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to go, no, dude, you're like this. I've known you your whole life. This is who you are. Quit acting like you're somebody else. So I can't do that. Too many of my old friends watch. They're around. They're watching. They're on my Facebook. I mean, so Pops tries to make sure that when I'm talking about an old story, like being on Z-Rock with Rob Planet, people that watch know that's a fact because they knew me then. I got friends.
Pops talks in third person because Pop says so.
I do. I get that stone cold thing going on. I mean, that's where the personality comes for me. It's like Raj Mahan created Pops Van Zandt. You guys got to understand that. That's not my name. Okay? That's a comic book character in his comic book that he created based on me, basically, or, use my likeness or whatever however you want to use it. He's using me in his book. And he created this persona. My alter ego. That's what I like to call it. It's my alter ego. And when I come out here, I'm still me. Everybody that knows me, I'm still me, but I'm playing the part of the comic book character that I started promoting a year ago that turned into promoting everybody's comic book characters. I mean, it started with Raj and Mojo Risen. That was where it started. And that was before COVID. We were promoting that book back in November of 19, and expecting to launch it in April. Oops.
December, how about you? Because again, you've been kind of, you say you have the cameras in your face all the time. How do you separate that, the brand from the personal?
Well, I don't think that people would really want the personal. Like I think they would keep wanting the brand. The brand is just entertaining. Like it really is. Like when I'd wrestle, for example, I would ask what like did you like I would ask the promoter, like, am I going to did you want to book me as a bad person? And they were like, oh yeah, definitely a bad person. Like there was like no doubt in their mind that they wanted me to
be the heel.
Like, yeah, but that's like kind of myself the whole time, because like I never really was like a nice person ever. So like I just never really went that way, and that way is kind of boring. So like I was always kind of a spoiled brat, so I stayed a spoiled brat. And like if I was like not that person, I think people would be confused. Like that's not you at all. Plus, I don't think that anybody doesn't want to know the spoiled brat. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, how lame would it be if Veruca Salt was just a nice person? Like, nobody watches it because Charlie Bucket's interesting. Like,
right?
Like, if you watch it now, you're just like, yeah, this kid's lame. Like, whatever. I want to see what Violet's gonna get into, or like what her does. Because there would be no story. There's like no story with the just ordinary. Like, you just make life fun. But as for like the separation part, there are certain things that are me. Like the comic book thing, that's like totally me. That's been me since I was like 5. And that's, you know, that's never going to change. But yeah,
poetry. You write poetry as well.
Yeah, that's another thing I did add into it. Like nobody in the brand part knew about that until I was like well out of the ring. But I do write, and that's I think another thing that I do separate is people really, I don't think, would talk to me the way they talk to me if they knew if I didn't really dumb myself down for the brand, because a lot of people lately have been very condescending and like, oh, I can talk to her however I want to. And I'm like, well, I don't really flaunt my education levels, obviously, because this is a character, kind of. But if I did, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't really want to talk to me like that, now would you? But yeah, I don't go full on Karen on anybody, because I easily probably could, but I just don't.
And that's something that I definitely want to touch on. But Heather, how about you? How do you navigate, you know, this upfront persona now that you're in front of the camera, and kind of separating the personal stuff? Because again, we are pretty accessible.
I don't. I am the same way in person, on the phone, online, on camera, except for probably less expletives, and I probably am a little more careful on topics. When it is on here, like when people start bringing up my family business and things that I've seen, there's certain things I just don't put on camera. But I'm it. There's certain things I'll keep quiet. I deal with the guys that go in, you know, the messages, or hop on one of my live streams and ask me what it would take to spend the night with me while I'm reading everybody's Kickstarters and that's thrown in. I deal with them. I figure
most of us don't know how to act.
Well, I mean, there's you know, there's something about, you know, getting pictures and videos that are inappropriate, and I'm like, well, thank God my kid wasn't here when I opened that. But I've learned I send them back something that would kill that mood that they were in for, I don't know, day, week, sometimes longer, and then they block me, so I don't have to deal with them again. So I know how to.
Guys,
I did that with you in December.
Yeah.
Even if they ask for it, guys, even if they ask for it, say no 3 or 4 times. Jeez, build up the anticipation. Come on.
There's certain things that I definitely keep to myself when it's my personal life, but when it comes to who I am, this is it. I will laugh at myself. I will trip over my own words. I will stutter. I will blush sometimes if you get me in the right topic. But this is it.
She genuine.
Yeah.
She came out genuine though. I can remember her first streams. I'm
That was awful.
Well, Trish, how about you? Because now we're seeing you more and more on camera, you know, making appearances and things like that, shows like Backer Paws.
Well, I
because
owe
you
Nita
are
a big thank you.
opinionated and you don't hold back.
No, but I owe Nita a big thank you because I had a shirt on the other day that said where I work and where I live, and she called me on that, and she's like, Trish, you can't be doing that because otherwise people are gonna be calling you out. Because at work, I am Trish and I am the boss, and that is my world. When I am home, I am an Uber fan. I'm a geek. I'm Mike's wife. I'm Tori and Katie's mom. But at work, I am Trish, and you know, and I have to separate that because like I do get texts like, oh Trish, I have this Kickstarter, and I'm like, right now is not the time while I'm at work. You know, I'm sorry I work 12 to 15 hours a day, but I'm at work. Call Mike, you know, message Mike if you want us to back it right now. So there is a fine line, and when I'm out the door, that's where I draw the line. You know, when I'm back in the door, let's talk about comics all you want and what you want me to buy or what you want me to watch because I'm there. But when I'm at work, it's a whole nother ball of wax.
She watches every show. She buys everything she sees. You guys don't have to be in her inbox.
And I wanted to kind of push that over to Nita, you know, give you the mic for a minute. How do you feel like you're navigating as far as now that we've kind of launched RAGIN? You know, we have our morning blog. I don't even know how that happened, quite honestly, because we decided we're like, well, we're talking behind the scenes anyway. We love
I'll tell you how it
into
happened.
StreamYard.
It happened because you challenged me to vlog daily. And so I started doing it. And I started doing the little 3 minutes. Hey, my name is Nita. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was it. All right. I'm out. Bye. But then I noticed your ass started slacking and I wasn't seeing you do your vlog. And I'm like, wait a minute. You told me to get on camera every day because I needed to grow. And where the fuck are you, Meredith? And so I hit you up in your inbox. I'm like, hey, why the fuck didn't you blog today? And the next thing you know, we were doing
accountability.
Yeah, so that's how that happened.
But see, what we would do is we would get into an old StreamYard link and just talk to each other on camera anyway, just because I hate talking on the phone, but I have no problem getting behind the scenes and talking to you guys face to face, because for me, I have Asperger's as well, so I need those social cues. I need to see, you know, like what you're doing. It's like, oh, you know, if you're kind of looking away, if you're sitting back like this, it's like I want to know, because then maybe I'm talking too much or it's boring or something, you know. So I need that. Hate the phone thing.
Nita, what are you doing? Okay, just checking.
Yeah, you know, so it's like one of those things, and that whole accountability partner. And we're like, well, you know, if we're already doing this, why don't we just? We're being real. We're being ourselves. My brand is basically me. What you see is what you get. I might clean up every once in a while. You know, we did that for the ICA Awards. We put on makeup. You're putting on makeup because, you know, you look green otherwise right now.
Yeah, well, that's
the precipice of death.
Well,
but yeah, so and then people are like, oh wow, you know, it's like, oh, you clean up well, because they know that's not my brand to put on the face every day and get in front of the camera. I'm just going to talk the way I talk and promote the things that I love. And sometimes it's to, you know, sometimes it is a sponsored thing. So it's one of those things where, okay, you know, what you see is what you get. That is my brand. But also, like what I do, I've been an advocate for creators, for writers. I mean, I live and breathe words. And I've been doing it all my life. And I started in the 90s. I don't know if you guys remember iVillage, but, you know, I started off as a volunteer there. I became a paid moderator and moved on to other things, other platforms and stuff. And so always kind of been there, always had kind of the same voice, just a little bit older. December, you got a tiara on?
It's a crown to designate my status as royalty, since we're being ourselves and all.
I don't have one.
I don't want anybody to forget who they're talking to when they're watching this. in the interest of being ourselves and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You continue. I was listening.
you go on, Queen. You go on, Queen. So now, okay, so let's, Nita, how are you feeling? Because
There you go.
I'm good. As long as look, even if I got to puke, I'm just gonna go down. And y'all just keep going.
I'm ready to take notes. This is my
I wanted to talk about the creative process. Because we are all creatives in one way or another, whether it is for your live stream, whether it's CronCon and promoting, whether it's writing and things like that. I think the biggest question that I often get asked is, how do you overcome writer's block, or when the muse stops talking to you? What is it that you do to get past that? And anybody can go.
I got a group of 2,000 people that I can just throw a post out and get feedback and get bumped back into the game like that. I mean, you guys have seen, there's been times when things have happened where I've been like, man, I just don't know if I even want to do this anymore. Yeah. You know, and then the next day I'm like, I'm normal again. You know, it's like I have a huge group that I can fall back on to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
For me, any kind of time I have anything crazy going on, I just have Mike. You know, Mike is my rock, and he's always there. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it's, honey, we need to steal from Paul to pay Peter so we can buy Jim's book or whatever, you know what I mean? He's got my back.
Mm-hmm. But Trish, I know that you're writing, you know, so when you put the words on the paper and stuff like that, and you're kind of getting those ideas out, as kind of stepping into that, onto that field, there's a certain amount of vulnerability that comes with that, from asking people, will you take a look at my work?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is that like for you?
That is scary. That is scary, because because I know I had you and Nita both look at, and to me, I mean, it's like Trisha's down here and you guys are way up here. You know what I mean? You're like right under, in my mind, you are right underneath like Stephen King and Anne Rice.
Oh God,
in my
mind, you just became a crack addict.
I'm allowed my thoughts.
In my mind, ladies, it's 10 o'clock. I just realized I have another stream I'm supposed to be on in 2 minutes, so
Pops,
I'm going to give you your
have a good night.
Well, before you go, let me put your card up again and go ahead and promote CronCon.
CronCon tomorrow and Sunday from 12 noon Eastern, all day long. After hours from 9 p.m. on, we have a couple of great panels. Russell Allen will be out with some great people, Grant Lankard, and I can't remember who all these, Rodney Fike, and who knows? He's got a panel. We got Shay the Red and the Cyborg Valkyrie have a panel for Sunday night, and we got all the, some great new guests. Actually, it's going to be awesome, man. Just come watch.
All right. Well, it's almost 10, and don't make me boot you out of here so that you're not late for a show.
I have people waiting for me. Thank you so much. You guys have a great ladies' night. I'm going to watch the rest of this in the morning. All right. Peace.
See ya. All right. So, December, how do you, because, again, you didn't come out of oh, maybe you did. Maybe you did come out of the womb ready to perform and things like that. How did you get past that feeling of maybe feeling the vulnerability, and just, especially with your writing, let's kind of focus on that, because our writing, when we do that, these stories come from wherever. Sometimes it comes from deep down in the soul, and when you're sharing it out, it puts us in a very vulnerable place.
Well, I have probably the worst case of imposter syndrome ever. It never goes away, ever. Nita, I'm sorry that you're having that too, because I know how painful and horrible it is. It's like your own mind is like your personal torturer, and it's like it'll never let you go ever. I've been writing since I was a kid, like even at the same time that I like comic books. And I was about I want to say like 27 2018 is when I finally like let other people read my stuff, because I had a ton of poems and short stories, and I had gotten like it was just really, really scary to do it, but luckily online. And the majority of places where I found places to take and look at my work were Twitter. It's a lot of independently published like poetry magazines, and one of them, one of the editors ended up becoming one of my really good friends. But it's kind of like comics. They're just independently run, and they're put together. They're passion projects, and they're submitted to by people that just really love poetry, and they're really good too. Like a lot of them are one of them, my friend, her name is Kristen Garth, and she's just fantastic with poems. She's what I call the sorceress of sonnets. Her work is primarily sonnets, and it's like poems that are fun, like what I try to do too. It's like, I don't like when people teach stuffy poetry from Tunzi, or like I mean I can understand poems from that time, but it's like I also don't understand some contemporary stuff and some older stuff, and I can see where that would turn people off. So I try to read and write what I do understand. So anyway, like where I was going with that is like there are really good places out there to look at your work, and I got over that fear. But it's still kind of scary to do that, because you will get rejected like all the time. You're going to get rejected way more than you're going to get accepted. And like every writer on earth is like that, though. That's every single one. It's not just you. And like even the famous ones, like Stephen King talks about in his On Writing book, he's like, I got rejected all the time. And like even now popular writers, they could have the Harry Potter book that got rejected. I forgot how many times it was, but it was years before that got picked up, and it was like a subsection of Scholastic that got that. And I'm pretty sure that whoever rejected that didn't have a job anymore. So but yeah, the thing is, you're gonna get rejected, and you're gonna get rejected a lot, but that's not just you. That's like even Miss December got rejected. Okay, we'll just put it that way for poems. But the thing is, when you do get accepted, it is the most amazing feeling in the world, and you're not even going to remember the times that you got rejected, because it won't matter. And you're going to be so happy by the times that you got accepted and seeing your name in print that you're going to want to keep doing it, and you're going to want to keep trying. And then I had done that before the pandemic broke out, but when that happened, I actually didn't write or publish too much in 2020. I kind of shifted my my focus to the artists that I thought would need attention for keeping their art going. So I actually didn't do anything for myself that year. Pretty much, I think I got like 4 poems published in one publication, but I decided to do the comic promoting other than that. And I don't the thing is, like, people forget that I'm a writer, so they see me and they remember like my wrestling from years ago, and they remember and they know that I cosplay, but it's like I've been writing this whole time, and like no one ever really asks about that or like says anything. And I do have a couple of poems in like comic associated things, but I also have a website simultaneously that like is up this whole time, and like
people are like, oh,
huh?
And people are like, oh, it's like suddenly you're a writer, and like, no.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's been there the whole time. And I do want to say though that Wendy Steenshaner, Chuck from Belial, and Nathan Zerdy and CB Zane and Steph Wilson, these are like all people that have asked about my writing like during this time. So thank you. I remember that. So that's very cool of you. I'm probably like not mentioning a couple of names, and I'll think back to that later, but like right to the top of my head that comes up because they ask a lot, and that means a lot to me. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Heather, how about you? So with kind of putting yourself out there again, you said you're camera shy, you're not a comfortable place. How are you doing that as far as overcoming that? And maybe I think everybody in here has dealt with imposter syndrome at some point or another, if not now. And so what are you doing to kind of overcome that? And I'll just give you the mic.
I kind of just set a schedule. 2020 was really rough for me, and I ran away to California for a few days. And when I came back, I was ready to face the world. I wasn't ready to face the world before then. And it was one of those things like, I have to do this. I have to get in front of the camera. I have to see if I can do it. It was one of my biggest fears to overcome. And I had a few friends. I said, listen, I'm going to be live. I need you to just say hi. I need to know you're there, so I'm not with dead space. And I've learned, I juggle so much. I do a variety of different things being a single mom. So I stick with what I know. And as I get at 5 minutes, I learn a little bit more of one project. And then I get to learn that one thing. So then I add that. And then I stick with what I know public. Like, I don't interview people because I don't know how yet. And I'm nervous enough alone. So that's just terrifying. But eventually I will get there. But for right now, I'm like, when people say, well, can't, you interview me, I'm like, I am so not there yet. And I don't want to screw it up that bad on camera. So I stick to my comfort zone within most things. And then I push myself on one. And the camera is the one thing right now.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Trish, how about you? When it comes to sharing your words and again, having that vulnerability and stuff, what was the thing that made you go, yeah, screw it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I'll hear the feedback. Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, because I have nothing to prove. I haven't like put anything out there. So there's nothing to compare it to. And you know what I mean? So I'm like at ground zero. So I have the easiest one is that I just have to do one little step. And if I can do 10 steps, great. But you know what I mean? If I just do that one little step, and that's all, I keep pushing myself with that one little step, And like, I am working on my stories. And you know what? If I only get like 4 or 5 sentences done because I'm putting so much into it, that's okay with me because I don't have a deadline. I'm not trying to impress anybody. This story is personal to me that I want to share out because my grandma told me this story. So I want to get it to the best effect that I can get it out there. And if, that's all I just want to do is just one little step above. And that's it. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. If nobody buys it, nobody buys it. But you know what? I did it for me. And screw the world if they don't like it.
Yeah. Nita, so. How about you? Because I know you share your poetry. We're getting online now. Advocacy.
Right. I'm just going with it, Meredith. Just going. Just doing it. Fuck.
And you're doing an amazing job of it too. Let me tell you, I'm so impressed that you went from Miss Quiet Shy to I consider you my friend and an advisor to me and so much more. You're so amazing, and don't cut yourself short out of your accomplishments.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, I just love words, and sometimes they come naturally and sometimes they don't. For me, poetry has become easier than prose because I'm in a very emotional place right now. So like a lot of my shit's kind of angry, but I don't know. It's just, and I'm stuck with writer's block right now in writing a short story. So I'm just kind of like riding it out. For me, there's nothing I can do to like boost it. I just have to write it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for me, when I think when I just started getting in front of the camera, I was just like, why not? I didn't have anybody challenging me. It was just one of those things where because I used to perform in front of a live audience all the time, and I kind of missed it. but I didn't have the capacity to go out into the real world. It's just personal circumstances and stuff like that. Things changed. There was a big move. And, so it's like, where can I connect with people without being in a room full of people?
Right.
Because
I'm going home.
I am not that comfortable. I mean, again, I think it's an Aspie thing and the sensory overload and all that stuff. And so I know my limitations. When I go to an event, it's like I have to be there a certain amount of time, and then I need to separate myself so that I can have a quiet moment, get my brain back in my head, instead of feeling like it's exploding, and then I can go back in. And it's like, okay, round 2, ready for that. And doing this and just talking. I think for me, part of it was also because I work from home. When my husband's away, my son basically grunts at me. We don't have conversations and things like that. And so I was losing my capacity to speak. I was losing my vocabulary. And the only way that I was getting my words out was through writing. And then to talk to people, I felt like, okay, I'm stuttering. It just didn't sound good. I hate my voice. I mean, there was everything. There was so much hate for myself and like what I was doing. And I had to get over myself. Just be like, fuck it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I want to speak, then I have to start speaking. If I want to be better at communicating, this is what I have to do. And it just felt, after a while, it just kind of felt natural. If you had asked me a year ago if I was going to do comic books, I would have been like, no, I interview people. That's what I do. That's where my comfort place is, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're doing a story. I've got comic book credits and things. But speaking to what December was saying with the rejections, I embraced my first rejection. When I sent my book out to a publisher and I got my first rejection letter, I think I laughed. I was just like, I made it. I framed that sucker. I did because not too many people will take that step to get it published. Not too many people will get over that vulnerability and that feeling of fear of rejection to send it out into the world, hoping upon hope that it gets accepted. But more than likely, if you've been in publishing, agents and publishers often have, especially in prose, a 99% rejection rate. So chances are you're not gonna make it. So but a lot of people don't want that. They don't want that rejection letter, and I celebrated it. That to me felt like I have arrived, and maybe that's weird. I don't know. Is that backwards thinking?
No, there's actually an author that like keeps his rejection letters and he like posts them.
I love that.
Yeah. I always thought that was cool too.
Yeah, I mean, so it's okay. I think it's okay to be vulnerable because at the end of the day, when you're having your bad days, you know who you can turn to and talk to, and who's going to have your back and who's your fair weather friend, and I think that's important. But I wanted to kind of go around because we're over an hour and I know that Nita's not feeling good. And I hate the fact that I have to leave and go pick up my son on the family taxi today.
Oh, I forgot about that. 'Cause I'm like, don't put that on me. I'm all right.
No, it's me too.
Sephora, Red Bull, and NyQuil. What?
It's been one of those days. I wanted to go around the room and the networking. How is it that you do it? Where is it that you find that your network is? And how do you choose what platform that you spend more time on? Because as individuals, unless you have a team of people who are doing your social media for you, there is not enough time in the day to do that and the creative process. Where do you put your focus, December?
I focus mainly on Facebook just because I'm more comfortable with it. They changed the formatting on Twitter, but even before they did that, I wasn't really a huge tweeter. And then Instagram, the same thing. It's like, I know that I probably should be using those more, but it's like, I just don't. I don't know. It's like my following just generated on Facebook. So that's what I'm most loyal to. That's where like the like everything grew is like when I started like with the wrestling, and then it continued with the writing, and everything just kind of stemmed from there. So I just put my main focus there, and then I never kind of lost contact with any of the fan base that I had acquired. And like I just thought that was pretty amazing, that so many of the people that on an indie level had seen me, like, and I knew that I wasn't like ever like hugely famous ever, but I was amazed at how many people had seen me over the years and had stayed in contact with me. So when everything hit with the pandemic and I was sharing with the comics, like I was so grateful for how many people like would take time to share and check out all the comic book artists, and I remembered them too. So I was like, oh, this is great. Like you remembered me from like this country, like in like someone in Ireland had seen me from YouTube, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like you still have me on your page. That's great. But I remember, and I believe wholeheartedly in the power of the fans, and that's where a lot of my sharing and communicating comes from, is from fans. So at shows, and like any advice I would give to artists and people that are trying to grow creatively, just be kind and personable to your fans. Like just treat them how you would like to be treated. As I say that with a crown on my head. Yeah, but like I just kind of, I mean, I treated everybody like that when, you know, because it's like the saying, like, be nice to those on your way up, because they're the same people you'll see like on your fall down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just like a nice thing to do. Don't be an a-hole to anybody.
Right.
Basically.
Now I'm going to pass the mic to Heather, because again, we kind of circle marketing and promotion and things like that. And I always tell people, sign up for everything to log in your username, but that doesn't mean you have to be active on there. Where is it that you find the most traction for your own business, and how do you tell people to navigate as far as like self-promotion?
For people with self-promotion, I find out where they're the strongest at, because everybody works with a different platform. Some people find that Facebook's best for them. Some people find that they need the videos and YouTube is better. So I ask them where they are, what they're doing, and where they have the most following, and then see how they can cross-post without it taking too much extra time. And that is a lot of the biggest things, is finding the right tools to manage your social media, where you can link up stuff, where you can do a quick pin it or share, as opposed to doing every post separate. And that would take up way too much time. You can't do it. Facebook and Instagram now are linked, where you can do one post and have it go out to both places and respond to everything in one place. Pinterest, I pin a lot. I share videos. I share pictures. I have 2 Pinterest pages. I have 3 YouTube channels. I have multiple Facebook pages and a Facebook group, and then I have my networking people. But I still have my network from the lingerie world, the designers that I worked in. And I never realized how much it crossed over with cosplay until I ended up in here. And I'm like, oh, we know the same people. Like, oh, you know the designer there? Or, you know, and these are people that I've known for, some of them for my entire life, because it was a family business. And some of it is from going back in as an adult working in that industry. So I tell people, find your place. Me personally, I have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube open at all times on at least one laptop. And I have 2 phones. One is just a Wi-Fi quick device that I can just have in my hand, and one is my actual real phone. And I normally have things going in both. I never stop. I put my phone down for dinner. That's about it. We have family dinner, and I do not pick up the phone for dinner. But
I think
you find
that
what
speaks
works
to
for
drive
you.
too. Yeah, I think that speaks to drive. It's like you want to be connected because you're building up something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Trish, how about you? Where is it? Again, I see shades of just starting to come out into the world. You know, you are showing up on more shows and things like that. And I love that because for me, I see those stepping stones because I've been there. Is that what you're doing? And where is it that people are like, where are you building your network?
My network is basically where my friends are. And that's what I consider you guys. So if you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, I'm on YouTube. And that's where it is, because I know if I have anything that gets out there, it's my friends are going to be the first ones to back me. So I'm going to be where my friends are at. So if it is being on this show or that show, or just watching it and being supportive in the background, which me and Mike do like all the time, like literally we have like right now, I not that Mike's trying to be mean, but he's like watching 4 shows, you know, oh, we're here, we support you, you know, and he's typing in there, letting people know, you know, we're here, we're watching, you know. But you know, that's basically where my loyalties are going to go, is where my friends are, because I know they're the ones that are going to boost me up first before I find any fans or any fame. It's going to be my friends and my family that boost me up.
Yeah. Nita, how about you? Where do you find that you're spending your time, and as far as like promotion and stuff like that?
Right now, everywhere, but I'm not self-promoting right now. So I'm Terraform promoting right now. So I'm keeping everything open and I'm going at it. But I have a system where I've scheduled it to where in the mornings I get on and I hit up groups. I go to Heather and I go to Pops, and I've got a list over here on my cork board that's like 20 different groups, and I'll just send straight to them because I know that they're going to get it out there even further for me.
Mm-hmm.
Turn around and hit Twitter and freaking Instagram, Haps, whatever's up for that day, and I try to rotate it out to where I'm not hitting the same spot more than twice in 24 hours. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
And staying as busy as that, every single one of us are again, constantly, it feels like, I mean, for me, it feels like I'm constantly plugged in. So when I take a few days, or not even a few days, a few hours away, it almost feels like I'm doing something bad. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, I need to be plugged in. How are you pacing yourself? Because this pace is not sustainable. It's not. Heather, you're laughing, but I want to hear
I'm
your
laughing.
answer.
Because there's nights that I'm still up working until 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and my alarm goes off at 7 for my son to do distance learning. He's not been in school since last March.
Mm-hmm.
So he's home. He's 13. He's in 7th grade. He's in accelerated math. And I'm there with him with math and English, or his first 2 periods, that he really needs me just to be available. So when he gets anxiety, when he has a trouble, I can hear it before he actually asks, before the meltdown, and then help him work through it. But yeah, I work until I crash, and every once in a while, I also have fibromyalgia. So when that flares up, it doesn't matter if I've worked 2 hours or 20, I am down for a day and minimal online. And there's nothing I can do about it except for wait it out. So pretty much work until I crash.
That's not a good retirement plan. I was going to say, you know.
isn't that what you do, Meredith?
But it is. It's the truth.
Yeah, December. How do you pace yourself?
I don't. Like I get on when I can, and like I try really hard to keep up. It's like I know when I need to post something, and I do pretty well at like remembering who needs to have a post and like space it out where like a post would get enough attention to where like if I posted something else a few hours or like a day later that they would equally get attention. But sometimes it's like I don't get enough sleep ever. Like I have not had a regular sleep schedule since I think like last summer. I was made to be. I was in a situation where I had to stay awake for a really long time, and like there was like no sleep going on, and I'm still in that space. So I do not have a sleep schedule that's correct yet. I'm still in that area, and it's horrible. And it's like I sleep when I can. Like I take a lot of naps, even when I was even in my queenly state when I needed naps. Like I have not seen anything like this before. Like I just need to have sleep and just regenerate, but I can't really do that. So I take one nap and it feels like so many things have gone on, and I need to like share this, and I try to like repost and share as much as I can, but sometimes like I'll wake up to messages that are like 8 messages. December, where are you? Hi, it's me again. Did you get my last message? Hi, December. Hi, it's me again. Hi.
Oh my God.
I'm like, and then I get so overwhelmed that like up here, I just can't. Like I get overwhelmed very easily when I see stuff like that. And I think that people think that that's funny, or that they're being cute, or that I'll think that's funny. And it's like, I see that and I collapse into my own anxiety, and I need to like just shut off my phone for another 8 hours. And there goes another day of like artists that I could have promoted, and I don't, because someone treated my inbox like that. And that's like more and more of what I'm getting now. So that's why I'm like asking nicely now, like, just please do not treat my inbox like my inbox is not your toy. Okay? It's like a place for marketing at this point.
Yeah. So Nita, you kind of mentioned, you know, like your schedule and stuff like that. Are there other tools? How are you keeping?
No, it's
how are you keeping a schedule?
As soon as I get up, well, as much of a schedule as I can. I mean, I get up, I freaking hit the social media. The kids, I've worked it out to where they take care of themselves for breakfast. We get together, we do school. At lunchtime, I come check my messages and everything. If I have time to reply, I do. If not, then we finish up the school day and right back to it until I crash.
You know,
Which
and
sometimes
I wanted
it's 48 hours later.
Yeah, and I wanted to point something out because Trish, I know you know you and Mike are super backers when it comes to things like that. And I, you know, when I'm in Kickstarter and things, there are things that I want to support, and I want physical books. And a lot of times I'm going, okay, I got to pay the electric bill. I have to like maybe wait until I can support that and stuff like that. And you know, there's a part of me that feels anxious, because if I can't buy the book, I feel like I'm not doing my job. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did I get to this point?
But you have amazing creators out there that understand that, and then you write them, you look at their name and then their profile and be like, hey, I couldn't catch you when your Kickstarter was on. Is there any way I can jump on now? Because I'm always late to the party, and everybody knows I'm always late to the party. But if I'm at the party, yeah, I'm celebrating and I'm backing. But there are a lot of times where I'm late to the party, and then they are amazing, and they'll send me invoices and like, hey, you want to back me? Here's my PayPal info, whatever. And then they'll let me and Mike jump on. So just don't have anxiety about it. I mean, if you can't, just reach out to the, like Pops was on there earlier. And I saw something that I didn't know about, you know, last November. And now it's just coming out now. And I'm like, is there any way I can jump on that? And he's like, no, not at the moment, but you know.
Yeah. And Mike says there are more Kickstarter than money, just choices and stuff like that. And again, it's like one of those things where I feel like a lot of times with the comic books and the creators that I'm supporting, a lot of it is because of friends. And a lot of it is because I definitely want the book. I'm using it as study material for myself. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I have, you know, I've got bills to pay. And, you know, so it, like balancing it. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, you have this, you know, like I have to say the stimulus money was great, because I was just like, I'm getting this, I'm getting this, I'm getting this. And then it's gone and you're like, oh, shoot. You know,
that's why I tell everybody what our budget is, and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's your budget. But our budget a month for comics or Kickstarters is $700. Now, if your Kickstarter does not fall in my month where I can afford that, I'm sorry, you know, I can't do it. But $700 is a lot for comics and Kickstarters. You ask anybody else and they don't come near that amount. But that's what I can do. But that's because I work 15, 16-hour days and like kill myself and you know what I mean? And try to be supportive.
Like working for the joy of getting all those things. It's like, hey, you know, if I can't spend it on the things that I love, what the hell am I working so hard for?
Right. But you know, that's our budget. And if it's, I mean, I'm not a queen. I can't afford to, you know, $1,000 for all this. No, I can't afford that. But you know, $700, you know, 10 Kickstarters, that should be plenty enough money a month to, you know, give it out.
Well, the other thing too is I have never heard of an artist getting pissed off because you don't financially contribute to a Kickstarter. A lot of times, like, you get the same thank you for sharing a Kickstarter than you do for pledging. So they're gracious no matter what you do. Now, I'm not saying don't, you know, buy from them, because obviously you do want to support them, but sharing their work, like they are happy when, from my experience anyway, they are happy when you share their art with your family and with your friends and spread the Kickstarter to somebody who might not know about it, because a lot of why Kickstarter doesn't do as well as it could have done is because no one knows about it. So the real thing that is helpful is if you're spreading the message.
Now, the one thing that I wanted to circle back on was something that you said, December, when people are blowing up your inbox. You know, I want to tell people right now, don't waste our time. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but there are times when, because we're all busy. We are all busy. Trish is doing like 15, 16-hour days. You know, Heather's got her business, plus dealing with her kid. Nita's got her family. December, you know, we're all busy. So when it comes to coming to our inbox and sending us a message, don't just say hi and leave it alone.
Get to the point.
Get to the point. Why are you contacting me? And then I can answer. I don't have the time to do that whole back and forth and being nice and small talk and stuff like that. When I'm online, I have a certain amount of time to get the rest of my stuff done. So say hello. I'm reaching out because I think that you can help me promote something. Or is it okay if I tag you on this post so that you can share it out with your network?
Right.
Be specific. You know, but don't just be like, hi, how are you? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah.
And once is sufficient. Once is sufficient per message. I don't need a repeat from you 50 fucking times, because if I open, I'm blocking you. Fuck you. You're gone.
Yeah.
And then also,
my anxiety does not have time for you.
They need to be patient too, because they got to realize you guys have a life, and that if you don't get back to them within a week or 2 weeks, realize you guys are busy too. You know what I mean? As a fan, I understand that, because like I have sent, hey, here's my story, and I waited 3 weeks to hear anything back from certain ladies, but I was okay with that.
I admit it was me.
Down, girl.
Like I'm fine if people want to send messages in my inbox. That's totally fine. But like you guys said, if you want to promote something, the more information I have is like concise is available, then please send me that. Like I can get that for you faster. But like the emails that are like, hi.
Girl, I got like 500 right now.
Do that.
I love the wave.
I really am trying to help artists. I can do all of that stuff faster if it's just easier for everybody. If you do want to say hello and check in, that's cool. Don't do it like 50 times with a hi. And also like you should be an adult using Facebook by now. Like if it's a December appropriate message, go ahead and send it. I'm not bitching. I love that I have people that actually do want to send me messages. I'm not trying to ward you off of that. And I'm also not man hating. So earlier, like there are a lot of respectful, cool men out there. So thank you very much for being awesome. That does mean a lot to me. So I do appreciate that. I hope that I'm like, I sometimes get inarticulate with stuff like this, but please, I'm trying to help artists. I know that you want to help them too. Just help me help them. Just send concise emails when you're able to. If you got a Kickstarter, I will happily promote that for you. It might take a little bit because, as I said, I might need a nap or something here or there. I'm not ignoring you. I will get to you as soon as I'm able to.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. It's like we know we have our own filters as far as who our friends are, who we're available to, and have those casual conversations. But when it comes to promoting and things like that, it is so helpful to like have your link ready. What it is that you want to share, what kind of messaging and things like that. Be specific, because again, as we're building up our networks, we want to promote. And so it's not like, oh no, I'm all business and stuff like that. But be respectful that everybody's kind of got different time schedules and things like that. We aren't all available. In fact, I woke up from a nap and I went, oh shit, I've got a thing to do tonight, with RAGIN. And I'm like, okay, make sure I change my shirt. Hopefully I don't look all swollen and stuff like that. So if I was missing messages before, it wasn't because I'm ignoring you or I'm ghosting you or anything like that. Just be a little bit patient. We are all busy, but we want to promote that. And, I want to thank everybody who is here. Pops was in earlier for CrownCon 11. We are going to we're going to close this out pretty soon in a couple of minutes. So I just wanted to say.
Can I ask one question to the ladies here? Because like I've been getting a lot of Be My Friend on Facebook, but it has like, it's a guy and has like no friends or only one common friend.
No, let him sit.
Let him go. Let him sit. Let him sit.
You can have up to 999 sitting at a time.
Yep.
I let them sit. They can follow my public posts. I do not accept them because once you accept them, they can call you and they can video call you at whatever hour. And that is something, unless there is something scheduled that you are going to call or your close personal friend, don't call, because you don't know the time zone that you're calling. I've had phone calls at whatever.
And even if you do, it makes you think I want to talk to you.
That's another thing. Like if I get a phone call, like I do not pick up. Like someone has to message me in order to say like, hey, I am going to call you. And it has to be someone like I know. And it's like, I don't use messenger like calls. Even when it came out, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was just a question because I've been getting so many of them and I like have
I don't even look
for me
unless I have
Trish is flexing.
Half of them are catfish. There's a bunch of scammers that are going around. So especially if the account's only like within the last month. And I just let them sit, and then I let them collect a lot of mutuals, and then I go back and I take a look again. If I have 200 mutuals and it's all art, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But and even some of those have gotten hacked, and there are scammers that are running them. So you have to just watch.
Yeah.
And it's okay to let them sit.
And that's how I got a D-pick.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that one.
That's why I met Heather.
Yeah, I got that one too. You saw what I responded.
No, I did get a D pick because he's like, I heard you like turtles because I love turtles. And he's like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Oh my
God. Lovely.
Yeah. And for anybody who doesn't know, D-pick is a dick pic. Don't do it. All right.
Don't do it. We don't want to see it.
And I will name and shame. I have no problem doing that. And when you have 200 mutuals, it doesn't work very well in your favor. I let a lot of stuff slide and I'll handle it privately, but when somebody's got 200 mutuals and they're starting, it means they're doing it to all my girlfriends too, and that's not going to go nice.
Yeah. I did want to go around. So the other thing that I wanted to say is, while we've got everybody here, I have no problem promoting you. Don't be afraid of tagging me in a post if it's something that you want me to share. I would ask that you don't tag me in every single one, but like if it's an important one, if it's a Kickstarter, if it's something that is that you're promoting, or you're getting ready to launch, or it's getting ready to end, or something like that, or even something cool, don't worry about tagging me. Because for me, again, with my schedule, when I see it in my notifications, it's a lot easier for me to go see what it is and then go, okay, that's cool, and share it out with my network. I have no problem with that. And I'm going to go around the room, let you guys, kind of share, is that okay with you as well? And then where people can find you, because we're getting ready to end the show, and I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Let me get you up on the big screen. Trish, let's get you up here first. Whoops, wrong one. I almost put you. Oh no, that would have been bad.
Me? No. Hi, I'm Trish Bengtson. I'm on Facebook. If you want us to back something, send it to Mike. I'll be totally honest. Send it to Mike. I've been working too many hours. That's all I got tonight. I have already done. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, we appreciate you being here, Trish. And where can they find Mike then?
On Facebook, Mike Bengtson, Michael James Bengtson on Facebook.
All right, awesome. Heather, let's get you up here. How can people follow you, and how can you help them network?
They can tag me if they have any posts, Heather Ellen, or you can also share it into Comics and More Chaos, and it's not and, it's the letter N. On Sunday nights, I go live, and you can drop all your links in my live stream, and I'll read them out, and you can network with other people that are also in the comments. And also Comics and More New Jersey, NJ.
Okay. December, how can people contact you and say, please help me network? And where can they find you?
I'm surprised that people even know me to get networked, so that's cool. Thanks for stopping by. I am on Facebook. Just send me a message or tag me. That's totally fine. I'll do what I can to get you noticed for your Kickstarter or any project that you have coming up. I am at decemberlace.blogspot.com for my writing. That's totally free to view for you. I have short stories and poems up. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at TheMissDecember. I have cosplay. Wendy Steenshainer just dropped these off, so that was part of the Comic Unity Festival. Steph Wilson's Might cover, yay. Might is by CB Zane. CB, I love you. Thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, just tag me. I am very non-threatening, so just go ahead and send me a message. I am looking forward to hearing from you, and I can't wait to see what you created.
Well, in December, you are up for nomination in the Independent Creator Awards for independent cosplay for Might.
Yeah, I was just happy to participate.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Huh? Well, I didn't really have a very good experience with that, so I was just happy.
Oh
no!
No! Well, maybe one day we'll get you back here if you want to talk about that. I'm going to put Nita up on this.
It's pretty easy. I got asked to do it by 3 people, and 2 of the 3 people that asked me to do it supported me and posted my picture and the other cosplayer's picture, and one of them didn't. So that's I remember that. So yeah, you enjoy the karma on that one.
Long memories, you guys. We have long memories.
Yep.
Nita, how can people reach out to you and say, please help me network?
They can tag me in posts. They could message me in Messenger, but get to the point, and you can find me as Nita Lanning on Facebook and Creating Chaos 24/7 everywhere else.
All right. And you can find all of my links on linktree.com/MEREJ99. That is where I have pretty much all of the links that you will ever want, and some that you didn't know you needed in your life. So follow me everywhere. Just don't peek in my windows. That's all I ask. And again, tag me on Facebook. That is where I'm most active. Kind of ironic, since I spent a couple of years trying to get away from Facebook. I was like that close to closing down my account, and then I started with Geek Insider. So it was just like, all right, let's rev up this engine again. And speaking of which, because we are going to close out the show, I just wanted to put this card up. The Independent Creator Awards, Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. It is hosted by Indie Volt, and they are doing crowdfunding. Voting is open up until the 28th. most of the time, right up until if it's a close race, voting will be open up until we announce. So make sure that you head over there, followed by Chuck Pinot with Shop Talk on the 7th. And then we close out on the 14th with Comic Book Advocates Network. And that is going to be special to our show. We are going to have an in memoriam segment in there. So if you know of anybody who has passed in 2020, who is a comic creator or on the Comic Con highway, and they passed away in 2020, please let us know so that we can put their name in the in memoriam section. Let me see. I'm going to play our Reapers video, and then we're going to close out of here.
When spirits can be harvested and sold for energy, the Ragtops must navigate psychic vampires, alien reverends, and other money-hungry groups to reap that sweet, sweet spiritual gold.
You've been watching RAGIN. This is episode 2 with Heather Ellen, December Lace, Trish Bengtson, and we had special guest Pops Van Sant from CromCon 11 happening this weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you head over to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notifications bell, because you never know when we're just actually going to vlog. And you can tune in every Friday night when we have our special guests here on the RAGIN interviews. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night.